Recently, we ranked your favorite munchies, the things that you eat when you are under the influence of God's own herb. Don't smoke weed, kids. Wait till you're 24. I think it's a good age to start. Your brain's pretty much hard. So some of these munchies were straight up incredible. Just putting peanut butter on an Oreo and eating it with a fork with some vanilla almond milk, inspired. 10. Pizza roll nachos. Need I say more? Another 10. But there were there's some straight up gross stuff, and there's a lot of questionable stuff. Just like, could this be better using, if not the same ingredients, comparable ones, and maybe just slightly better technique? So we picked out a handful of these recipes that we want to, I don't want to say fix, I don't want to say improve upon, because they're not broken. Love. We picked out a handful of these that we're going to give some love to and see if we can make it into something that's worth the calories. So this is gonna be a truly exhaustive journalistic Munchies experience, because last time I had the Munchies, but I was just eating. I wasn't making anything. But now I'm going to get the full experience of what it's like to make these things and eat them while under the influence of the green fairy, as I have taken to calling it. Herbal remedies, herbal essences. Yeah. I'm gonna smoke some weed, and then we're gonna start making some of this stuff. Stick around.
This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. They've supported this channel for over 7 years. In fact, they were my first ever sponsor. Squarespace is the perfect platform to create your own site and accomplish your goals online. Whether you're building a digital empire or just want people to give you hilarious episode ideas, Squarespace has you covered. I'm having a lot of fun making food ranking videos, and my favorite part is seeing what you guys suggest. So I built a site where you can submit your episode ideas. Go to rankedwithbabish.com and submit yours, and coming soon you can see all my ranked lists. Squarespace's brand new designer templates make it so easy to set up exactly what you need. To create one of your own, head to squarespace.com for a free trial and use code Babish for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
First up, we're taking a look at the one that perplexed us the most because we loved it so much and it was just shy of greatness. What user DVCV coined as white trash tteokbokki, which is just ready to eat tteokbokki they were using frozen beef patties, frozen burgers, and then they were just throwing American cheese in there, right? That's it. Just little tweaks, and this is gonna be, instead of just gloopy and like, this is good but terrible, it's just gonna be awesome if we just take a couple small steps. And the only thing we're gonna add to the situation is milk. That's it. Rachel just reminded me that the burgers were not even fried. There was no Maillard reaction, no browning on them, no source of like great beefy flavor, because they insisted in the directions upon boiling them. By virtue of that hateful instruction alone, it was horrible. It was like the burger patties I thought were inedible. I only even swallowed it because it reminded me of school. So we're gonna take the very simple step of just getting some color on the beef, and we're gonna embrace the fact that this is one step removed from Hamburger Helper. So we're gonna help it be a little more Hamburger Helper. All right, so I got, this is probably like a little less than a half pound of ground beef just because I'm doing a small amount here. I'm just going to brown this ground round because that is specifically what was missing from the official recipe, was some browning. And so I'm gonna turn these into little meteors. Okay, here we go. We got good color on the beef. I'm gonna drain off some of the fat. I still got some good fat in there. Now I'm going to quickly add this rinsed tteokbokki. That's a hot pan that I just added water to when there was oil present. And that's what happens. This has been a safety tip. Now what I'm gonna do is add a lot more water so that it doesn't sputter and spatter. Probably what I should have done to begin with. This tteokbokki says to add 1 cup of water to let it reconstitute. What I'm gonna do is, I really wanna get a sear on this tteokbokki. So I'm gonna cover this up, let these semi-boil steam until they've mostly rehydrated. I'm gonna let the water cook off. Once the water cooks off, it's just gonna be the beef fat, and we're gonna be able to put a nice sear on this tteokbokki. Get a little bit of crunch in there with that dastardly chew. God, I love tteokbokki. I love them. They're better than gnocchi. Wow, these are expanding like marshmallows in a microwave. Ooh, nice. All right, they're not gonna sear because they're in like a syrup of their own making. Ooh, they feel ripe. To make this into what's effectively hamburger helper, I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of milk. I just want enough to make this sauce a little creamy. I think that this is gonna have to cook down a little more because it's too loose, but one of my favorite recipes from ATK, which is their stovetop mac and cheese recipe, they use American cheese as a stabilizer, as a sauce stabilizer, some cheddar, mostly American, so that you get a nice creamy sauce. I'm gonna bring this down to a very, very low simmer. Milk loves to simmer, so it's maybe even take it off the heat so it's not actively boiling. And now I'm just gonna start tearing up and adding the cheese, which should hopefully just emulsify right into the milk. And even though this is just using like fridge ingredients, this is, you know, I think it's gonna be a real classed up hamburger helper sauce. Yeah, no, that seems to be assimilating nicely. I'm gonna add, maybe start with like that much. Let's just see what happens there. I just wanna see what this tastes like. Let's eat. Because I just got excited. Just to say we did. All right, time to serve this classed up white trash tteokbokki. That looks pretty great. I mean, in a very stony way, obviously. Here we go. It's really thick. I should have used probably one less cheese slice. I was worried about flavor, but I forgot about the seasoning packet. That's nasty. And I mean that in the very best possible way. For spicy cheeseburger tteokbokki, I think I'm gonna assign it the name that we came up with while we were making this, which is a cross between gnocchi, mochi, and tteokbokki, which is gnocchibokki, which is a heavy, heavy indica. So that's perfect. That'll line your stomach. You'll sleep for 1,000 years. So next up, we were determined to revisit Poor Man's Churros by TTF'n Buddy, because it was just a drippy, melted, buttery, mostly oily mess that tasted fantastic because it was just cinnamon sugar in a tortilla. So it deserved better. And I think we literally just came up with the way to do it, because what we were gonna do was deep fry a slice of bread and then sprinkle it with cinnamon sugar afterward to basically make like an amped up cinnamon sugar toast, just like Mom used to make. Deep fried cinnamon sugar toast. Yesterday, I innovated an idea of how to make a hot dog grilled cheese. That's another episode. But in doing so, I came across this method, which is to roll out way more thoroughly than you might think, than feels normal, a slice of white bread. You have to get it really flat, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll it up. Not unlike that tortilla. This is really, truly, like, we're swapping one ingredient. We have this nice flat bread that we can roll without too much worry about it tearing. I rolled up a hot dog with some cheese. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I want a super duper thin layer of butter, because I don't want it all melting out and just ruining my birthday party. And I'm doing it because we need something for the cinnamon sugar to adhere to. And look, I know, it's tempting. You're stoned. It's tempting to just sprinkle on sugar, then cinnamon. Let me dissuade you of that notion right now, young man, because if you load this up with sugar, you might not have any. This is probably being too paranoid. Never mind. Do this if you want. I don't give a As I'm doing, I'm like, this is there's no way that's true. Anyway, I was gonna say that, like, if you put down too much sugar, then there'd be no butter for the cinnamon stick to it. I'm mixing together cinnamon sugar, which, as I mentioned, is utterly optional. Maybe no, actually. So I'm doing pretty good coverage, and it is rather comprehensive.
Also, I feel like the last one needed salt.
Oh, yeah, thank you for saying something. Rolling this up firmly, but gently, like a good father. All right, so now I'm giving it some pressure directly on the seam so that it sits flat on the seam, and there we go. Now our seam's on the bottom, see? I kind of squished it down so that it stays on the bottom like that, so when it goes in the pan, it'll be submerged in the oil and it will seal shut, God willing. So now let's give it a fry. It's fry time. Into the rather hot pan it goes, and I'm gonna press it down on that seam, and I'm also going to rotate it in this perfectly sized pan to get all that oil. Now I'll just roll that right back up. No harm, no foul. Ow! Ooh. And I'm just gonna give it a little bit more action on this side, and then it's time to eat. So there is our, Steve aptly pointed out that this isn't a poor man's churro. A churro is not expensive. And I think it's just about where you are in this world and if you can get churros nearby. So if you can't get them nearby, this is a Midwestern churro, because that's where you can't get no churro. This is a Thai churro. So I really can't imagine you get churros in Thailand. Okay, it's probably cooled off enough by now. You can see that there's no dripping of any kind. There's been complete absorption of the fats in question. Outside was a little lame, but when you get to the inside, I mean, this is just like this lovely little cinnamon swirl in here.
That's so cute. Oh, that's so freaking cute. Oh my God, I like little roll-ups.
And this is how you serve it to your friends. That worked out really well. I think that deep fried toast with cinnamon sugar on it would be awesome in its own way, but who wants to deep fry when you're stunned? That's a bad idea, patently bad idea. Shallow frying at high temperatures with a fickle object, perfectly fine. It's good, it's worth your time. It's about as good as I could imagine a slice of bread, about as good as I can imagine cinnamon toast being, except cinnamon toast, which is great. It's great, just do it how you want. I don't know, just eat some cinnamon toast. And
More portable than cinnamon toast.
it's more portable than cinnamon toast. You can't eat cinnamon toast in your car. Hope you got a Honda Odyssey with the built-in vacuum. Since we're talking Honda Odyssey here, the one that, this one made me crack up for some reason. It's not, maybe not that good, but mommy drama. So now we're taking a look at Bookish Minna's tikka masala quesadilla. This was a favorite of ours because it was just gooey, cheesy tikka masala flavor. It's brilliant. We have a freaky twist to put on this Friday. Chickened nuggets, because protein. But really, I was imagining this being a chicken quesadilla. A way simpler way to get some chicken in there and some wholly uninvited but very welcome crunch is to just roast up these chicken nuggets, get them nice and crisp, chop them up, put them in there. And then something else I think I'm gonna do differently is I'm gonna mix the simmer sauce with the cheese to create a paste of sorts. That way, we're not having any differentiation between cheese and sauce. It'll all melt nicely. And I'm also going to, for our health, and for a little color and some appropriate flavors, some red and green bell pepper. Yet another magnum opus from us here at Babish Incorporated. We only write magnum opuses. This is going in the oven, 425 degrees. Make that 475 degrees because I want it now. No, I'm gonna turn it down. And we're just gonna bake those according to the package directions, and then that's gonna be it. Let's make the sauce mixture. Now you guys know me, fam. I'm not about that pre-shredded cheese nonsense, but today I'm gonna make an exception. Normally I would not advocate for the usage of pre-shredded cheese, but that's really in dry heat applications. You have to bear in mind that there's potato starch or some kind of starch on the outside of the cheese that can be a thickener if you're using it in other applications. In this case, it's fine. It's not getting any dry heat. It's enclosed inside the tortilla. So, just as I promised, I'm going to make a mixture, mostly cheese, to just the right amount of tikka masala simmer sauce. Just want enough here to make a thick, spreadable paste that's gonna really stay in place in our quesadillas. Sometimes that can be a problem with quesadillas, is tumbling toppings. They're not really toppings, are they? That looks like it's gonna be tikka masala cheese sauce by the time this day is done. Yeah, that seems like a good ratio. Let's give it a taste. Can't taste the cheese at all, which is, I think, ideal. The objective here is to make gooey tikka masala, basically. Next and last, and I promise, you're not gonna have to do anything else after this. You've done enough. I'm just gonna add a little bit of green and red bell pepper, just because it's gonna be really nice. It's it's both quesadilla-esque and it reads Indian cuisine as well. I'm gonna do nice small pieces because I think that it's kind of annoying when you have gigantic chunks of in your quesadilla. I'm just gonna add our chopped greens and reds to the cheese mixture, which might be a good idea. Chicken nuggets. I would definitely recommend using chicken tenders, but we've had these in the fridge and that's very Munchies. So I'm not a fan of these kinds of quesadillas. I don't like the roundies, I like the foldovers. I don't know if that's a quesadilla or it's just something that they served at my middle school. I wish they served quesadillas at my middle school. Why'd I make that up? They just served Mexican pizza. All right, we have our saucy cheese laid down. Atop that, I'm going to press some of our chicken nuggies. Get a little bit more of this junk on top. Maybe just mix the chicken in with the cheese. Like, this is dumb. This is a dumb thing. I regret what I'm doing right now. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about this. I don't. All right, there we go, finally. Now we just fold these over. They will now adhere because it's not just a layer of chicken on top. And I use a not insignificant amount of oil. I learned that from Kenji. He almost shallow fries his I don't go that far. So I'm putting in the quesadilla on one side, I'm briefly dunking it in the oil, and then I'm immediately flipping it over so that way one side of the dilla doesn't drink up all the oil. Just making sure that the outside's real crisp, but the inside is melty and ready for my mouth. We're just letting this cool a little bit. I'm doing it on a rack so we don't end up with a soggy tia. Here we are, folks. The chicken nugget tikka masala quesadilla. There we go. Ooh, nice little stretchy pants. Well, that's a perfect food. That's the most perfect food. It's fantastic. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. It's great. The Bookish Minutes set them up. I knocked them down because this is just a variation on their theme and it's freaking awesome. I would eat this whole thing right now without flinching and continue shooting and eating everything else that we make. I would absolutely do that, but I want these guys to try it. So, what wheat strain do you get? Peabody Super Stank. I'm sorry, Peabody Super Skank. Peabody Super Skank. Next up, we're taking a look at the It, which was pioneered by Random Guy, which was a cheap frozen pizza, undercooked so that it was flexible, filled with Doritos and sour cream and hot sauce. I had a love-hate relationship with it because it was something that would have destroyed me from the inside out if I'd eaten even half of it. But it was a delight on many levels. We might be able to just like, if not, improve upon those fillings, we will class them up a little bit and make them distinctly Italian. I also think it being kind of a burrito, it was a spiral with him. We're going for a more burrito vibe. And I think that needs rice. Like if we're making a pizzarito, we need rice in there. So why not keep that Italian as well and make some instant risotto. We went instant because again, this is stoner food. We're trying to make it easy. It's not instant, it takes 18 minutes, but we're not making risotto, is what I'm trying to say. And just to be we're gonna use creme fraiche instead of sour cream. And for the hot sauce, I have this piri-piri sauce that I love so much. It sounds totally out of left field, but it almost tastes like pizza to me. It has like an oregano vibe to it, so it's gonna work really nicely here. And in lieu of Doritos, we have these guys. If you haven't tried these, run in any given direction until you find them. And it'll be worth it because these are Tarallis. They're an Italian snack. I can't remember the primary flour, white wine. I don't know how they make these. It must be the wine, but they have a wholly unique texture. They're really, really airy and crisp. Like they just shatter into 1,000 beautiful little pieces in your mouth. And I'm gonna crumble these up a little bit, put them in there. And these ones are pizza flavored, so don't tell me I'm a snob. And for the pizza, we went fancy. We're using a Neapolitan pizza. I'm gonna fire it fast and hot so that it stays relatively, malleable. So I can get it into a burrito orientation before it solidifies. So first I need to make the risotto, which I'm starting to wonder is even necessary because of the size of this, it's so small. And we'll save time. We won't have to do as much.
Or stove,
I have had our pizza steel preheating in this oven for about an hour now at 475 degrees Fahrenheit with convection. Probably gonna kill the convection right now. And I'm just gonna fire it fast and hot. First I'm gonna get the other stuff ready. Hang on, because this has got to come together instantaneously. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some milk to this creme fraiche to make, I want it drizzleable. I want it like sour cream, basically. Almost like a crema consistency. That's gonna make a good drizzle. That's gonna make a good drizzle. There we go, that's the stuff. I'm just gonna crush some of these up beforehand. I want them to be relatively small pieces. I don't wanna screw up the roof of your mouth, but I also don't want there to be these huge loops. There's our taralli. So this guy's going into the oven for probably just about 4 or 5 minutes. Even if we don't cook it as much as they recommend, it's not gonna be undercooked. As you can see, it's already fully par cooked. We're just reheating it. So we can keep it a little more pliable if we keep it on the light side of things. Here we go. All right, so one key to this is that it has to be done while it's hot because you need it flexible. And I have a feeling it's going to just kind of become very unyielding after mere moments. That looks done enough to me. Yeah, we're gonna pretend like we're, the professionals at Chipotle. Okay, loading up with the tarali, or you can just use Doritos. I don't care. Try to get some crumbs in there. A little bit of crumbs for the people. Then I'm gonna hit it with some of this creme fraiche drizzle. Yeah, buddy, that's a good drizzle. Now I'm gonna add this peri peri hot sauce, which is just so bomb. I never say that things are bomb. That felt weird. Oh, it's already starting to solidify. Let's see if we can do this. Tuck it in. Ah, okay. Nope. I mean, I'm gonna eat it. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna eat it. But I think I waited too long. It demands to be eaten as is, and so I shall. So maybe act a little faster, maybe pull it from the oven a little sooner because the rewards would be great. That looks awesome. Oh my God, so good. So that I would only call that a partial success, like a single boob job. Just getting one done. It did not wrap nicely, but if you just crumbled the tarali on there and drizzled and just ate it like that, ate it like pizza, it'd be fantastic. There's one more delicious object I've ever put in my mouth. It was nuts. I'm gonna give that one Papal Kush X White Smoke. So this original recipe was a horrible, ineffectual pickle that had been hollowed out just like the soul of its inventor and was stuffed alternatingly with cubes of cheddar and peanuts. So I don't want to hollow out a pickle. I don't want to. I'm high. These concepts bump. I don't want to hollow out a pickle and fill it with dumb, half dumb, because cheddar is great. But this is a recipe, this is what, a 5-year-old, when he's learning how to write, writes down on a note card and says, look at this recipe. It's pickle stuffed with peanuts. So we're just gonna make skewers as though they are for a Bloody Mary, perhaps in fact even for a Bloody Mary. So I'm gonna do some skewers of pickles and cheese and peppers and salami, because that's a better time than the stuffed pickle surprise or whatever they were taken to calling it. That's a little snack for the chef. So I'm gonna cut these into, comparably sized cubes. Everybody's gonna be bite-sized today. That was a mistake. That's how I want that to be, not like this. Yeah, basically we're not gonna make a Bloody Mary. We're gonna make a michelada and dress it up like a Bloody Mary for Halloween. You gotta be careful with the cheese, okay? I almost made these two. Oh no, I did. See what I did? See how bad I did? See I did bad. I did bad. They were too narrow, and they crack. They when you put them too far on the stick, they split. So, what I need are nice wide blocks. I made these too thin too, so they're cracking too, but not as bad. Oh, you gotta remember the order. You gotta do it in order. Otherwise they'll know you're stoned. There you have it, folks. A way better way to eat the things that we were talking about, and a little addition, no less. Who made this? Pythagoras? Some kind of geometry guy? That's just the way when you fly the green flag. Those are the waters that you shall navigate. All right, how do you make a michelada? You just mix it you make it in the glass, right? Well, that's what I'm gonna do. So. I'm gonna start with a little shot of tequila, even though I know it's not traditional. I don't think having a skewer, this cheese, meat, and pickle skewers are very traditional either, but I don't play by the rules of other countries. I mean, wait, disregard that, but that was probably too much. It looks awful. So just, at the end of the day, just put it on a stick. You just put it on a stick, that's way better. And separately, you get yourself a glass of watermelon juice, and it's the best flavor combination in the world. You want to try the watermelon juice? Meat, cheddar?
So can I
I'll drink this, and yeah, you corn cob that.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a little bite of everything. It's dripping. It's so.
It's because I dipped it in the michelada.
Alright.
It's not water or spit or piss or anything.
Alright, I'll just take off my attacked portion,
Great, good.
and then you can finish the rest.
All right, and you're not gonna waste that, right? Here, just dip it in here with your hands. So did we fix this one? It's better than it was before. It's better than it was before.
How bad's the michelada?
No, I did something wrong. But it's still better than the pickles stuff with peanuts. So I'm calling this a win, and I'm giving it the worst weed strain. Jeffrey Wright Brothers. What? You don't like my hot dog collection? Next up, hot dog toast by Glyphmax. I would call it a Trojan horse situation, and I mean of this organization, because we saw that recipe, we accepted it, we made it to the letter, and I think it was designed to hurt us. It was a sandwich of hot dogs, specifically cold hot dogs. Then it had American cheese in it, sweet and sour sauce, ketchup. And it was a really great flavor profile. Like, it was actually very nice to eat. It was a different way to eat hot dogs. I enjoyed it, except for the fact that the hot dogs were not warm. So we're gonna make a couple little tweaks. I'm going to griddle the hot dog. I'm going to split griddle it, which is gonna be badass. And I think I'm gonna use White Hots. These are a Rochesterian specialty. They look so gross. There's a lot of White Hot adjacent sausages available in grocery stores. A knockwurst, you could use brats even. I think this is gonna play really nice with the sweet and sour sauce. I'm going to split and griddle them to maximize their brownedness and Maillard and flavor and being warmed through. Other than that, the only other change I'm gonna make is I'm gonna throw some, we have this Mexican 4 cheese. I'm just gonna use this because it's a little bit more interesting than American. And I'm thinking about adding these, a little bit of roasted red peppers. Am I out of my mind?
You need help?
No. Ugh. Why do they make jars this size, this shape? Stupid. It's too shallow for me to get all my fist around. I can't get any leverage with my pinky. That's why. Embarrass me right now.
Oh, first of all, it's greasy as
No, it's not. It didn't come from me. I was wearing a glove. That was
That's because you gotta smack the bottom. That was...
Women are stronger than men.
That's right.
What you need to do to split and griddle, you can't use a skinless Frank. You need one of them skin Franks. So that way it has a membrane by which it can be split. Yeah, see, it's a perfect fit. I wouldn't change a thing. The split and griddle is a diner essential that far too few people utilize because it just doubles the surface area that is getting browned. When you're browning a sausage of any kind in a pan, guess what, sucker? It's round, okay? It's only gonna make contact with the part of the pan that it's hitting. So you either need to fry it in a lot of oil, which is gonna spatter and be a problem, or you're just gonna have those just lines of char down the top. We all know those lines. We've all had those lines. And this way, you got two completely flat surfaces that are just going to be pure char, or not char, but browned. I made my point. All right, Geek Squad. That's what I call my audience from now on. Hey, whoa! It's fine. Everything's good. See how good everything is? Griddle those suckers. Uh-oh, we got some curlers. My little guys here have taken themselves to curling a little bit. And you might be thinking, oh great, now I gotta throw it away. Fear not, we can just make an incision. Or if we wanna even go really crazy, just put a little cut in the back that's gonna break the membrane so they sit flat. More work than you signed up for, but it will build character. And this one's perfect, of course. Daddy's favorite. Now we're gonna make grilled cheese. And I mean, this is one of the more essential things to grilled cheese craft is leaving a stick of butter out for several hours or just all the time. And get yourself a butter dish so flies don't land on it. And just be ready to have perfectly edge-to-edge browned grilled cheese. You know what I'm gonna do, fam squad? I'm coming down your chimney tonight. In other words, I'm Santa Claus is what I'm trying to say. Because I'm gonna hit both sides with cheese. I'm gonna throw down some peppers so they are held in place by both the sausages and cheese. And I'm gonna take this cheese off because I want to put the sweet and sour sauce and ketchup over there. Let's hit it with a little bit of that sweet and sour sauce. Just a bit. Get that butter all over your hand. Just get it right on your fingers. Get that butter back on the table. Then we're gonna lay down the sausages. I'm gonna stack them a little bit. Not stack them, but like sort of lean them against each other, like books leaning against one another. It's a literary dish. Then I'm gonna hit that with cheese. The next step is to print money. I'm gonna start it in a cold pan. You heard me. That pan is ice cold. Only thing you cook in that pan is a smoothie. I'm going to cook this very, very medium low. I want to very, very slowly toast the bread, and I want the heat to have radiated all the way up and melted the cheese before flipping. Then once it's nice and brown, flip it again, hit it with a little bit of water, cover it, steam it, make sure that it is heated throughout. Only then shall I consume it. I might even just do that right now. I'm gonna put it on medium low right now, and I'm gonna move it around so that it gets even exposure to heat. There's no hot spots. I want a nice, even crust. All right, we have a really nice brown crust. This is a very, very compromised sandwich at the moment, so we have to go quickly. We have to go confidently to make sure that nothing jumps out. So now I'm gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna weigh this down. I'm gonna add a little bit of water, cover it up. It's hot enough that that water is sizzling and it's gonna generate steam, make everything melt. The press is gonna help, compress everything, but it's also going to help the bottom make perfect contact with the bottom of the pan so that it gets an even more even brown crust, especially if you keep moving it. You keep turning it, making sure that not one part of the sandwich is getting more attention than the other. Putting way too much effort into this. All right, I'm gonna give it one more flip, just because I think, yeah, that side is really nice. There you have it, folks, hot dog toast. Hopefully improved. I really feel good about like the roasted red peppers and the white hots. Like I think that this is gonna be a really interesting, really lovely flavor combo. Looks perfectly inviting on the inside.
Oh.
Oops. Natural casing may be a bridge too far. It wouldn't be if I had just not put cheese on one side and let the sausage have contact with bread, it would hold it in place. So if you make this, the flavors are utterly perfect. They're delicious. If you did this with just normal hot dogs, it would be fantastic as well. Just don't cheese both sides. Double cheese one side, because especially if you have these, which are natural casing hot dogs, which was way too artisan of me and way too bull, because now it's hard to bite through. It's really good though. That was really good, but my use of too classy a hot dog ended up being its undoing. So I think I'm gonna call that one, I think that the weed strain to smoke with this guy is lobster smoothie. So Moon Please sent us something they called the strawberry milk bowl, which was exactly what it sounds like, except with the addition of a tremendous amount of sugar. They said 2 to 3 tablespoons per, like a cup of milk? Absurd and inappropriate. It was not bad, but it's just so certainly could have been so much better. And we had a couple ideas for how to improve this without really upping the labor amount. And the first one is to sort of take some inspiration from this and from the Finnish dish like this, where they just pour heavy cream or triple cream over berries in the summer and they laugh around the maypole and stuff. We're gonna try to take some inspiration from that, but what we wanna do is we're gonna macerate the berries. That means to toss them in sugar, let them sit for about 20 minutes, which is gonna basically draw liquid out of the fruit and turn it, the sugar into just kind of like a syrup in the bottom of the bowl, which is gonna mix with the milk, immediately turning it pink and instantly sweetening it, unlike adding granulated sugar, which has to dissolve, which is difficult and or gritty at the end of the day. There we go, there's our berries. And I'm just gonna eyeball the amount of sugar that I'm putting over these. I just want enough to very thoroughly dust it. That's probably too much, but that's okay. Because we're just gonna add a little bit of heavy cream. So this is gonna be almost like it's melted ice cream or something, you know? But I want it to be cold, so I am gonna toss it around. You gotta make sure that all the strawberries are evenly coated in milk. We're gonna eat it right out of this bowl. Now I'm gonna put these in the fridge because I want them nice and cold. We're gonna put them together as soon as this is just kind of gooey looking, no more solid chunks of sugar left, and there's a nice bright red syrup in the bottom of the bowl. Probably about 20, 30 minutes. The other idea that we had, which is really not in the spirit of this at all, other than that it has the word milk and strawberries in it, is to microplane strawberries into a pile on a plate. And it basically just makes you like a fruit ice. That already looks delightful, you know? Yeah, I want a big old pile of granita here. I'm gonna try to do a volcano kind of vibe. A reverse volcano, because it's red on the outside. Just take some sweetened condensed milk, show it what the news is. I forget the volcano thing, I don't want to do it anymore. We done changed the game. Oh, TikTok did something good for once. That looks like a lot of fun. A lot more fun than a bowl of oversweetened milk and strawberries. It's fantastic. There's no chance it wasn't going to be. But we can lay no claim to this idea. This is purely of the internet, or whoever that person who did it.
Little Fat Boy Frankie.
Little Fat Boy Frankie. That's really good. I highly encourage you to try it. And it's a very fun way to use frozen strawberries. I'm gonna start eating all my frozen strawberries this way.
Or peaches, pineapple, I've seen it all. Wow, that's good.
There's our macerated berries. As you can see, all the sugar has been absorbed and liquefied into this lovely syrup that now lives in the bottom of the bowl. The original plan was to just pour a little bit of heavy cream over this, which is what the Finns do, but they don't macerate. But then that got me thinking, what if we made this into effectively a tres leches strawberries? Strawberries go good on tres leches. Tres leches goes good on tres leches. Why not this? I'm gonna start with a bit of milk. I think this will be, you know, our primary liquid. Then I'm gonna bolster that milk with heavy cream. And then I'm going to drizzle sweetened condensed milk, which there's already too much sugar in here, so this is probably a mistake, but I don't really care. That looks awful. That looks pretty bad, but I think it's gonna taste good. Oh, here, this will fix it. A little bit of cinnamon, just to make it a little more tres leches. Let's see how that works. A market improvement. I think if you were to do the exact same recipe as was, just add the sugar to the berries rather than the milk. It's going to turn them into a syrup that'll easily mix into the milk. And adding these other milks, I don't think the mixture of heavy cream and milk was necessary. That was a little silly. I just wanted to hit 3 milks. But the sweetened condensed milk is awesome because it's not just sweet. It's like, you know, kind of caramelized milk. Like it's got that great sort of sweet, toasty flavor to it. The cinnamon is actually a pretty nice add. I've never thought of strawberries and cinnamon before, but I'm thinking about them now. That's great. That's great, quote unquote, cereal. I love that. I think that we got to give it a good one. Good weed strain, one of my favorites, Dunkaroo Dundee. And that closes the book. Well, just like ranking your favorite munchies, playing with them and putting my own spin on them is equally as fun. I had a great time today. None of these I don't think are too complicated to do when you're stoned unless you really don't cook. And then in that case, I would not do the poor man's churro. I would not do any stove stuff. We did stuff without stove stuff. Some of those were duds. I think the pickle peanut thing was so cursed to begin with that there was no way that we were gonna make a good version of it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. And I saw a lot of requests on the Munchies video to start a new series called Blazed with Babish, or Blaze It with Babish, or Baked with Babish, or Buds with Babish. And I would love if you guys wanna see a weed smoking food show, shout it out in the comments because I'd love to do it. I have a good time doing this. And I'd love to thank all of you again for making this my job. Crazy fun that I get to come out here and play around, play with my food for a living. So thank you very much for watching. Please comment below. What do you want to see me rank next? What could I have done better? Which snacks do you want to see me fix? What's your eye color, height, and shoe size? Oh, and I didn't say this at the end of the Munchies episode, and I should have said it. Be safe out there. You know, we're having a lot of fun smoking weed and stuff. Like in all things, moderation and responsibility. Don't drive, don't do anything stupid, don't hurt yourself or somebody else. Have fun, stay safe, don't put your peanuts in pickles, and macerate your straws.
Thanks again to my long-term partner Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. Be sure to head to rankedwithbabish.com to submit your ideas for what you think I should rank next, or who you want to see as a guest. While you're there, admire the smooth template designed by Squarespace. If you feel stuck creating your website, Squarespace can definitely help. In just one click, you can choose from curated color palettes and fonts that can be applied to any template. You can create an entire site in just a few minutes. Their SEO tools help your site reach its audience, and you can use Squarespace to help manage your invoices for commerce, or even generate your your business name. The tools are all easy to use and at your fingertips. To create a site of your own, head to squarespace.com for a free trial and use code Babish for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.